Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. This is the weekly market update live stream. If you are new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe to it. Please make sure to like the live stream. If you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘁𝗿𝗏, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally post market updates and calls over my Twitter account also, so make sure that you are following this handle 𝗟𝘁𝗿𝗏. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. In fact, all of the links you can find in the description of this video. Uh, this live stream, it's mainly going to be focused on the market update part and then the chart requests part. I have noticed that in some of the previous live streams, you guys usually have the questions, you guys usually have the chart request, and we pay little attention to that part. So this live stream is going to be uh, more focused on the chart requests part also. So yeah, if you have any questions, any chart requests, any queries, anything that you do not understand related to the calls, please make sure to let me know in the chat box. So first of all, let's take a look at some of the open positions that we have. One open short position, and I'm mainly going to talk about the positions for which the stop loss has not been moved to break even. So two leverage positions we have open. One is on H bar and the second one is on ACT. In fact, the ACT short position we just opened a few minutes before this live stream started. This short position, it's still around the entry point. The entry point for this short position, if I give you guys, it's 0.03560. You guys can take a screenshot or something, but this is the entry point for this short position, and this is the entry point is 50. So 0.0350 is the entry point for ACT short position. The DCA is at 0.03762. The stop loss is at 0.0363963. Final target is 0.01996. Okay, leverage range is 5 to 10x. The reason we opened this short position is because you can see that it was a very strong support level. On the 4-hour time frame chart and on the daily time frame chart also, price had a break below. We had few daily candle closes below this level, and then finally price came back up, gave the first retest at this level, and that is when we opened a short position. Also, the 1-day 12 period exponential moving average is moving in the entry range. So whenever I'm about to take any longer short position, I usually take a look at few important things. First of all, support and resistance level, second, trend lines, and then 1-day 12 period exponential moving average, and then finally the positioning of dynamic levels, the most important dynamic levels, which means quarterly VWAP and ELD VWAP. So I've usually noticed the positioning of quarterly and ELD VWAP on the daily time frame charts and on the 4-hour time frame chart. If I talk about the 4-hour time frame, then on the daily, obviously, quarterly VWAP and ELD VWAP are not moving in the entry range. In fact, they're quite far away from the entry range. But on the 4-hour time frame chart, you can see that quarterly VWAP is slowly moving towards the entry range. And for that reason, if you look at the rating also, the rating for this setup is 6 by 10. So that is how I basically rate my setups. If I had quarterly VWAP, ELD VWAP, moving in the entry range, I would have definitely rated this setup at maybe 7 out of 10, or maybe 8 out of 10. The next short position that we have open, and by the way, if you are not in the ACT short position, this is specifically for those of you who are joining from the Twitter account, because the live stream announcement was being made on my Twitter also. So if you are joining in from the Twitter or from any other platform and you did not see this call, then make sure that you are following the proper entry point and DCA. Uh, yeah, so if you are following from any other platform and you did not see this call, make sure that you're following the proper entry point and DCA. DCA is somewhere around here. This is our entry point, and then this is the hard stop loss. The next short position that we have open, and by the way, I was planning to open a short position on Python. For some reason, we completely missed this short position. I was planning on opening this short position, and then this move happened overnight. This was a very good short position. Price is almost down 7% already for this day, but it was a very good short position. Unfortunately, missed this one. But we did open three short positions during the past 7 days or so. One was on Santos, this one already down almost 17-18%. Then this one went down almost, wow, this one stopped us break even. This one went down almost 40% and then stopped us break even. And then finally, we had another short position open, which was on waves. The second TP we still have to take on waves, which is going to be somewhere around $1. And now we have another short position open for which stop loss has not been moved to break even. The rating on this position is slightly higher than the previous one. For this one, the rating is 6 out of 10. For this one, the rating is 7.5 out of 10. And I would tell you exactly why. First of all, the reason we opened a short position on H bar is because you can see that price had a break below this level, closed a few daily candles below this higher time frame support, flipped it into resistance, and now we simply just took this short position when this first retest of resistance was happening. And then, if I talk about the dynamic levels, you can see that 1-day 12-period exponential moving average is moving in the entry range. Quarterly VWAP is moving in the entry range, and then the yearly VWAP on the daily time frame chart is also moving in the entry range. And finally, if we talk about the 4-hour time frame chart, you can see that on the 4-hour time frame also, we have all of these different confluences, all of these different dynamic lines that are all moving in the entry range. So that is why we took the short position on H bar. This one, the rating for this one is 7.5 out of 10. I know that some people have been a little bit skeptical about shorting H bar. Yes, it's a strong coin usually, but I am only following the chart. I'm only following the information available to me from the chart. And this chart is telling me that price had a break below this level, price then came back up, gave the first retest, and that is why we are taking this short position. Another important thing that I would like to explain here is that you know, uh, almost 90% of the positions that we have taken for the past few days are only short positions. I'm not focused on taking any long positions. For some reason, I'm more comfortable taking short positions in the current market. I would explain to you the reasoning also, but for some reason, I'm more comfortable taking short positions. And this is my personal point of view that I can handle short positions in a much better way in the current market conditions, in comparison to the handling or in comparison to the process that we would have to go through to handle any long position. So handling a short position, in my opinion, in the current market situation is a much more easy task in comparison to handling a long position. And this is exactly what I would recommend to you guys also, that instead of going with any random long positions, I had a few good I actually had few good long setups which I did not take myself. For example, ENA was looking good. ENA had a break above this level, break above the uh, you know uh, 4-hour trend line, then had a break above this higher time frame support level, but I still did not take any long position on ENA. And same is the case with a few other setups also that I had, and they were looking really good, but still I did not take any long position. The reason is because handling of short positions is much better in the current market situation in comparison to long positions. And this is a suggestion for all of you that you should be focusing more and more on the short positions. Okay, now let's talk about Bitcoin also, because the reason why we are more focused on short positions and not focused on long positions is basically because Bitcoin has been moving under the 1-day quarterly VWAP. Now, I would highly recommend that you guys go and watch the last live stream, okay? The live stream that we did last week. In that live stream, I did explain in detail that how exactly 1-day quarterly VWAP works and how beautiful of an indicator this actually is. And by the way, if you would like to have access to this indicator, all you have to do is just open up a support ticket and join the Discord server. You can find the link in the description of this video. Join the Discord server, open up a support ticket, and the script for this indicator, it would be shared with you. This indicator, it's different from the traditional VWAP indicator. It's not available in the indicators tab. On TradingView, you would have to, it's a custom indicator, you would have to request it by opening a support ticket in the Discord server. So you can see that 1-day quarterly VWAP, I have been constantly mentioning this in my updates also, that as long as Bitcoin is moving under 1-day quarterly VWAP, there is nothing really to be bullish about. There is no reason to be bullish, because anytime price would go back up to retest this level, it's most likely going to result in a rejection. Because remember that if you would go back in time, you would notice that we had a break below this level back on 7th or 6th of Feb, right? We had the first daily candle close, and you can see that for the next 10 to 20 days, price was constantly struggling to give even just one candle close above this level. Okay, there were multiple rejections at this level, And despite all of these different attempts to break above or give a candle close above the 1 day quarterly VWAP, it did not happen, right? And then finally, we had a break below. Then finally, we had this big rejection, which ultimately took us from 98K all the way down to 73K. So I'm actually expecting something very similar to happen around here also, in which you can see that the first rejection happened, then the second rejection happened, and now this is almost the third rejection. And we already have, by the way, for those of you who don't know, we already have the long limits placed around 106,000. I would explain to you the reasoning also, that why exactly we have the long limits placed around 106,000. But remember that for as long as, this is the statement, this is the important statement, for as long as price is trading under 1 day quarterly VWAP, there is nothing really to be bullish about. I already have explained the importance of this dynamic level in multiple live streams. I just gave you a live example of this. I just showed you an example of this in which price had a break below this level. Then it took price 4 to 5 months to break back above this level. And same is the case here. Price had a break above this level back on 22nd of April. That was a very easy long trade. And you can see that after 22nd of April, the first retest happened only on 22nd of August. This was another good long trade that we actually took. We actually took this long trade. And then finally we had a break below this level. Then price came back up, gave a bearish retest, then another bearish retest. And I'm hopeful that, sooner or later, the entry at 106,000 is going to get filled. Although this bounce at 107,000 was not arbitrary at all. Like, if you are thinking that this was just a random bounce, this was not really the case. It was not an arbitrary bounce. It was at 65% fib level. But again, this is something that we will be talking about later on. The first important statement that I've mentioned in this live stream so far is that I'm more comfortable taking short positions, even though, there may not be too many reasons. Because remember that at the end of the day, price is simply just consolidating in the same range. Market is simply just being very, very choppy. So if you go by the book, then you should simply just stay away from the market, and you should not be getting into any random long or short positions. But because we have our audience who are always very eager to get into a position, so that is why we usually have to go with these setups. And for that reason, I'm much more comfortable taking a short position instead of taking a long position, because I believe that in the current market situation, it's going to be very difficult to handle any long position. And by the way, 70 plus people are watching the live stream. Only 17 of you have liked it. I would really appreciate if all of you are able to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like this live stream. So yeah, the first statement is about the handling of the situation, that how exactly we can navigate the current market situation. And in my personal opinion, handling of short position is a much more easier task. The second statement is about when exactly we'll start looking for more long positions. As soon as we have a daily candle close, at least one daily candle close above this quarterly VWAP, 1 day quarterly VWAP. Although I'm still going to place a short limit at 115.5k. Remember that we already have a long limit placed around 106,000. I would explain to you the reasoning for that later on. And we are still going to place another short limit order at 115.5k. Okay, I would explain to you the reasoning for that also later on. But if you have to be bullish in a long term, remember that price is not never really moving in a straight line. Price is always forming these different waves: impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, right? Which means that, even though I'm long term bullish on Bitcoin, if it manages to close a daily candle above this 1 day quarterly VWAP. Now, another question that I was being asked over and over again was, if you are thinking that, or if you are bearish because Bitcoin is trading under this 1 day quarterly VWAP, then why exactly are you placing the long limit order at 106,000? The reason is because there is almost a $7,000 difference between the two levels. 106,000 level in itself is a very important level, and this quarterly VWAP on the daily time frame chart obviously is a very important level. So there is a $7,000 difference between the two levels, and there is no reason why we should not be taking any long position in 106,000 if we are believing that price can actually bounce off at that level. Even if price goes back up and then gets rejected at 1 day quarterly VWAP later on, I would not really regret this, because I would have easily caught a $7,000 jump, $7,000 move on Bitcoin. So, this quarterly VWAP, as long as we are trading under this level, I'm not long term bullish, I'm long term bearish. Okay, and remember that there is no such thing as long term bullish or long term bearish. You always have to navigate the market, you always have to, be very, uh, be very what would you call it? I don't have the right word for it, but you have to be very lenient about all of this, right? You cannot just marry your bias. You cannot just say that, okay, I'm long term bullish on Bitcoin or I'm long term bearish on Bitcoin. You have to constantly look at the current market condition. You constantly have to look at the market conditions and then make your decisions. So I've never really liked this statement of people saying that I'm long term bullish on Bitcoin. It's headed towards 115,000, 150,000, 200,000, $500,000. Your main concern should be where exactly it's headed towards in the next 1 week or so. Because the next support is at, let's suppose, 106,000. The next resistance is at 115.5K. That should be your main concern. You don't really have to be worried about where exactly it's headed towards in the next 4 years or in the next 1 month or at the end of the bull run. You don't really have to concern yourself with any of these questions. Your main concern is where exactly it's headed towards, you know, in the short term. And if we manage to get a daily candle close above this quarterly VWAP, I would definitely look for a long position. But still, I'm going to place a short position around here. First of all, let me try to explain why exactly I am eager to take a short position at 115.5K. Although the complete logic for this was explained during the previous live stream also, in which I mentioned the deviation, right? We are all already, all of us are already familiar with the concept of deviation. If you are a regular, if you are a person who regularly watches these live streams, you would know that I'm always talking about deviations. So because we had a deviation above this resistance level, because we had a deviation almost 2 weeks ago on Friday, this move happened. We were actually long at this level, and then this deviation move happened above the resistance level. I'm 110% sure that people are stuck in their long position somewhere around here. You would be surprised to know that, recently someone told me that they're stuck in a short position at 92,000. I was basically asking someone that, why exactly are you not trading on Bluffin? Okay, and by the way, if you if you would like my personal recommendation about which exchange you should be using, then I would recommend Bluffin. The link you can find in the description of this video. Register with that link and you can get the free membership of our premium server. You don't really have to pay anything. You don't really have to pay the $60 monthly fee. You can simply just get the free premium subscription of our server, of our community, if you simply just sign up using our referral link. Or alternatively, if you already have a Bluffin account, then you can simply just open up a support ticket and we would give you the premium subscription anyway, just for using Bluffin. And Bluffin is the exchange that I would always recommend. I do not recommend using any of these other exchanges. Obviously, Binance is a good exchange. I am a big fan of what Binance is doing, and it's a very good exchange. But if you have to choose one exchange other than Binance, then I would obviously go with Bluffin and not with any other exchange. I recently been having so many different issues with Bybit. I can even show you screenshots also. My funds are stuck with Bybit, and but yeah, let's just talk about that later on. So I was saying that the reason why I would be opening a short position at 115.5K is because we had a deviation move above this resistance level, which means that it's very obvious that people saw this breakout. Okay, we know that majority of the traders out there, they're breakout traders. They would have seen this move happen and they would have immediately jumped into long positions, meaning that now they're definitely stuck in long positions around here. Whenever price would go back up and revisit these levels, these people, they're definitely going to try and exit their long positions. And at that time, long positions being exiting basically means that selling is taking place, and then more and more people would jump into short positions because this is the resistance level. First of all, this is going to be the first retest of resistance level, and this is also going to be the deviation retest. So based on all these 3-4 confluences, we know that long positions will be closed, short positions will be open, and as a result, selling is going to take place. And so even though if we get a daily candle close above this level, I would be long-term bullish, okay? Because remember that once we get candle close above the quarterly VWAP on the daily time frame chart, it's not like price would just stay above for next few days or next few hours. No. If you get a daily candle close above, you can see that 22nd of April, we had a daily candle close above, and then price went from 93,000 all the way up to 124,000, and price stayed above this level for next 4 or 5 months, right? And same is the case here. You can see that price was trading above this 1-day quarterly VWAP for almost 6-7 months. This was another retest, this was another retest, and you can see that when price finally had a break and closed below this level on 7th of Feb, then price not only went all the way down to 74,000, but it also stayed below this level for almost next 3-4 months, right? 2-3 months. So that's why I'm saying that once we have a candle close above this level, it's not it's not common for price to immediately reclaim that level, because one day quarterly VWAP in itself, it's a very important dynamic level. It's a very strong level. So once price breaks and closes below this level, it's going to stay under this level for a long enough time, right? For a long, at least for next 1 or 2 months. Okay, I don't exactly know how the rate cuts are going to play a role in this situation, because we definitely know that rate cuts are happening. The probability has now gone up to almost 89%, 90%. Rate cuts are definitely happening. Almost everyone has signaled that. And obviously that's going to be a bullish thing for the risk assets. It's going to be a bullish thing for the crypto market also. Some people are saying that because this event is already priced in, because everyone already knows that rate cuts are happening, so that is why it may not really be too bullish. But I completely disagree with this thing. We were making similar kind of assumptions during last September, also September 2024, when we had the first rate cuts, in the past 4 years. People were saying similar things at that time also, but ultimately rate cuts ended up being extremely bullish. And similar is the case here. Rate cuts in the long run, they're definitely bullish, and I'm not seeing a reason why price would not be bullish after the rate cuts, right? In fact, we're having first rate cuts after, like, 7-8 months. I don't exactly know how the rate cut situation is going to play a role in this whole thing. But one thing that I know for sure is that, once price would break and close below this level, it would stay under this level at least for the next 1 or 2 months, right? And we have already been seeing that price had a break and close below this level, then came back up, and you can see how precise this is. Price failed to close a daily candle above this level. And same is the case here. Not only single daily candle closed above this level. You are seeing these wicks. We had daily wicks above this level, but not even a single daily candle managed to close above this dynamic level. And that's how important it really is. So same is the case here. For as long as we are trading under this level, I would only be looking for short positions, because I do not have a very good confluence in terms of Bitcoin, because I do not have a very good reason to short Bitcoin at this level. So that is why I'm more focused on shorting altcoins. Okay, that is something that we can definitely do. We know that Bitcoin dominance has been sitting at a higher time frame support. We know that Bitcoin dominance has been slowly going up. And for that reason, I basically know that even with a small drop in the Bitcoin price, I can easily catch some very, very good short positions. So that is why I'm more focused on short positions. And when I'm very confident about this, I would be opening at least 2, 3 setups. We already have two short positions open, just like I mentioned, H bar and ACT. Both of these short positions are active. For both of these short positions, stop loss has not been moved to break even, and you can definitely take that. We will be taking short position at 115.5k also, even though, if price manages to break and close above this dynamic line, if above this dynamic level, that is going to be a bullish thing. But because we know that price is never really moving in a straight line, it's not like price would just break and close above this level. It's just going to be one daily candle taking us all the way above 125,000, 126,000. No, it's not going to be like that. We're definitely going to see price moving in terms of waves. It's going to be impulsive, corrective, and something like this. And for that reason, I'm definitely interested in taking a small short position. It's going to be a small short at 115.5k, stop loss above 117.5k, and then the target would be at least $112,000 level. We'll see how the risk to reward ratio is at that time, how exactly the situation is at that time. But based on the information that we have right now, the first position is going to be a short position at 116.5k, and then the next long position is going to be at 106,000. Now it's time to explain to you what exactly is the reason that we are planning to take a long position at 106,000. In fact, we already have the limits placed at 106,000. By the way, you can see that it's a very, very beautiful move on Bitcoin. This move that happened on Bitcoin was not arbitrary at all. And by the way, if you guys notice, or I don't know if you noticed this or not, but by the way, if you guys zoom in a little bit, you would notice that there are two equal lows present around here. And remember the simple man theory. Whenever there are equal lows present on the chart, okay, it's going to be an easy long trade as soon as the candle close happens. Whenever there are two equal highs present on the chart, you would always take a short trade. Okay, and because of these two equal lows, and because of this descending trend line, okay, if you have been watching these live streams regularly, you would know that two things we are always talking about: equal highs, equal lows, and then these trend lines. In fact, I was constantly saying that you should be getting into short position on Bitcoin, but as soon as I saw this descending trendline formation has been confirmed, I immediately said that you need not to take a short position because of this descending trend line. Because if there is a descending trend line, even if there is a small breakout, there is definitely going to be a breakout. This is exactly what happened here. And then we had these two equal lows. Also, simple man theory. Whenever you would see the equal lows, you would close your eyes and you would take a long position as soon as the daily candle close or whatever time frame you're looking at. As soon as the candle close happened, you would immediately jump into a long position. So that was once again an easy position. But because of stablecoin dominance, I would not really say that it was an easy long position, because stablecoin dominance was at support, so that was not a proper confluence at that time. And this is exactly why I recommended that instead of confusing yourself with long versus short, you just need to stay you just need to stay away from the market, and just focus on the altcoin market, because altcoin market is offering really good opportunities. I just mentioned to you three short positions that we successfully took, then two short positions that we are already in, and API 3 Python, two short positions that I have been regretting that I did not take. For some reason the move happened overnight, but those two short positions were really good. In fact, this is an advice for all of you, that whenever you are seeing these coins form these Burj Khalifa patterns, like Python, recently formed this Burj Khalifa pattern, then API 3 also formed a similar kind of pattern. Then there are few other coins like Prompt also, and then there was this another coin, I forgot the name of it, NMR, right? NMR. So anytime these coins are forming these Burj Khalifa patterns and then breaking below the support levels without giving any reactions, you need to immediately get into long position. Centex Crypto is asking, yeah, LDO please. I've already said that in the previous live streams also, that LDO is a long-term trade. It's not a leveraged position, it's a spot position. The move on LDO is not going to happen overnight. You just need to be a little bit patient, and if you're waiting for the good entry, then you can enter at the current market price, start DCing into LDO. But please do not put all of your capital at one level. You just need to be a little bit patient, because LDO on daily is still looking really good. It's definitely going to take some time, but it's a very good position. I already have said that LDO is a high conviction trade. So, I was saying that anytime you see these coins, Cyber. So, Cyber was another coin which formed a very similar kind of pattern. Anytime you see these coins form this Burj Khalifa pattern, price just impulsively giving you, a move towards upside, then price just going down like this, retracing the whole move. And anytime you see price breaking below the higher time frame support or any support which is close to the top, all you have to do is simply just take a short position on it. Okay, you would find a very similar kind of pattern on Python. You would find a similar pattern on API 3. You would find a very similar kind of pattern on uh, NMR also. This is the trade for NMR. You can see that price had a move above this level, failed to close the daily candle below, and then it was just slow bleed all the way down to this level, because it's a very common pump and dump pattern. So yeah, that's how you have to trade it. You really have to catch this move. uh, so yeah, this is my point of view about few open positions that we have. And then taking you back to the Bitcoin chart, the reason why we are planning to open a long position at 106,000 is because 0.705 or 70.5% fib level is present around here. Okay, so just to give you a quick recap of the things that we discussed in the last live stream, if you would go and watch the live streams for the previous week, you would remember that at that time Bitcoin was trading at 118,000, 117,000, right? 116,000 range. And I was constantly pointing out that ultimately it would go back down to 108,000 to $106,000 range. And most of you were asking that why exactly that would happen. That had to happen because of the fib level. Because if you would draw the fib levels, okay, and by the way, this is a very good example of the fib levels. Usually it's not easy to find these bookish kind of examples, but the current move it's happening on Bitcoin, it's a very ideal sort of situation where you would draw the fib levels. Ayaz Shah in the chat box is asking, Sherlock, look at idle, it has the Burj Khalifa pattern where it's a good spot to short this one. Okay, I would be taking the chart request later on. And remember that this live stream, I already promised you guys that it's going to be having a separate session in which I would only take the chart request. Okay, so you don't really have to be worried on that part. It's not just going to be the market update part. Even if we have to stretch this live stream for 2 hours straight, I would do that. But yeah, this live stream is definitely going to have the chart request part also. So we know that already, that the fib retracement levels, they allow us to find the length of the retracement wave, right? And Fib retracement levels, they are meant to be drawn whenever there is a formation of a trend, impulsive corrective, impulsive corrective. And this is a mistake that most people actually do. They would just randomly draw the Fib levels, even when the market is consolidating, even when the market is moving sideways. No, you don't really do that. In fact, I was doing a live stream yesterday, and someone, despite me explaining all of that, someone pointed out that you should draw the Fib levels from this point all the way down to this point, and that is how you should be taking a short trade at 50% Fib level. First of all, there is nothing really, there is nothing magical about the 50% Fib level. We usually start from 0.618, and then we talk about 65% Fib level, 78.6% Fib level, or 70.5% Fib level. These are the most important Fib levels, right? There is nothing special about the 50% Fib level apart from the fact that it's just the middle of the range. And secondly, why would you draw the Fib level from this major swing high when price is moving in an uptrend? Remember that if I have to show you real quick a theoretical schematic, this is an impulsive, corrective, and impulsive wave, right? And remember that you would always draw the Fib levels. And by the way, I'm not going to waste more time on this. This is something that we always talk about, right? Just Mike is asking. Someone pointed out I'm guilty. Yeah, yeah. It was you, Mike. Glad to see you here. So if you would draw the Fib level, from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, you can see that this is your major swing low, this is your major swing high. Now you cannot say that draw the Fib level from this point, this is your major swing high, okay, from this low. Okay, no, you cannot really do that because price is moving in an uptrend. The definition of Fib level is telling you that it allows you to find the length of the retracement wave, and you are drawing the Fib level in the retracement wave. No, you cannot really do that. You would have to draw it with the impulsive wave and not with the retracement wave until and unless the trend shift happens, until and unless price breaks and closes below this previous low. That is when you can definitely draw the Fib level from this point all the way down to this point, because at that time you would have a complete change of character. In this wave, it would simply become your impulsive wave. Okay, so yeah, the same logic can be applied here. And I was constantly pointing this out to people that if you would draw the Fib level, the reaction will happen at 0.61865 or 0.705. These levels, they're extremely close to each other, meaning that $108,000 to $105,000 range, this is where you would see a potential bounce happen on Bitcoin. Now the initial bounce has happened. Remember that 0.618 bounce is always the weak bounce, and the actual bounce always happens around 65% or 70.5% Fib level. In this situation, if you would draw the Fib level from the major swing low to the major swing high, you would notice that 65% Fib level bounce has already happened. And by the way, look at how beautiful this is. This is the beauty of the Fib levels. And I'm always telling people that if you draw the Fib levels and you notice that the reaction did not happen at these levels, then there is nothing wrong with the Fib levels. I am 100% sure that there must be a reason at your end. There must be a reason that you have drawn the Fib levels wrong, and that is why price failed to react at this level, because that is how much confident I am usually about the Fib levels. Obviously, I know about this thing. I usually draw the Fib levels, and it's very common to do these mistakes because in order to draw the Fib levels, you need to have the right understanding of impulsive and corrective wave structure, which means that you would have to map the market structure very carefully, right? And mapping market structure carefully is not something which is easy. So for that reason, it's very common, even for myself. I would just be talking about myself, a person who has been using the same confluences for the past 7-8 years. I have done mistakes at times. So yeah, it's very common to do mistakes while mapping the market structure, and as a result, you would be drawing the Fib levels incorrectly. Okay, and for that reason, I'm always saying that if you draw the Fib levels and the reaction did not happen at 65% or 0.618 or 70.5% Fib level, then there is nothing wrong with the Fib level. 100% chances there are that the error was done at your part, because Fib levels, they're almost always accurate, and you can see this for yourself. Price precisely reacted at 65% Fib level. And if you guys are interested, you can go and watch some of the previous live streams also 2 3 4 months ago, in which I was constantly pointing out when price was at 110,000 and the all-time high was already made at 112,000, price had bounced at 100,000 level. I was constantly saying that there is no way that price would break and close above 112,000 and create a new all-time high, because the bounce only happened at 0.618. The actual bounces did not happen at 0.618, because I believe that mostly algorithms get triggered, or maybe bots get triggered, or maybe people who are not really interested in the risk to reward ratio part, they usually buy at 0.618 level. The actual reactions would always happen at 65% fib level or 0.705 fib level, right? And in this case, we can see that 65% fib level reaction has already happened, which means that, which takes us to a very important point, there is no guarantee that price would go back and revisit our limit order at $106,000 range. I have placed the limit order just because 70.5% fib level is present around here. The reaction already has happened at 65% fib level, because the rule says that 0.618 bounce is a weak bounce. The actual bounce will happen either at 65% or 70% level. In this case, 65% reaction already has happened, meaning that it's very much possible that the reaction already has taken place, and there is no reason for price to go back and revisit the 70.5% fib level. If it happens, it's going to be a very good opportunity. We'll be lucky if it happens, because we already have placed the limit order at $106,000 level. But if price just continues to go up, if price just continues with the same momentum, then it's very much possible that price will just now create a new all-time high. Because remember that whenever you draw the fib level, impulsive, corrective, impulsive wave, whenever you would draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, you will expect the price to go back down, give a reaction. Sorry, use the wrong tool. Where is the right tool? Okay, so you will wait for price to go back down to 65% or 70.5%. The actual reaction will happen, and then there is every reason for price to create a new higher high. There is every reason for price to just continue with the same momentum towards upside. So same is the case here, because 65% fib level reaction already has happened. So I absolutely do not agree with people saying that price is going down to 90,000, 80,000, or something like that. As long as we have a working fractal, as long as we have confirmation from the fractal that price is following this fractal, because this is the amount of information that we have available. Based on that, a decision would always be that price is ultimately going to create a new higher high. Price is now ultimately going to create a new all-time high. And for that reason, we will be taking a long position at 70.5% fib level. Obviously, if you would take into account a few more important things like stablecoin dominance, USDT dominance, the situation is going to get a little bit complicated. But yeah, this is the amount of information that you would get looking at the Bitcoin chart. The next important thing that I have to talk about, I was talking about an update in an update which I shared yesterday also, that stablecoin dominance, people are thinking that stablecoin dominance is breaking below this level. No, it's not. Okay. First of all, yes, stablecoin dominance. In fact, the same thing that I mentioned in the update that I shared this morning also. Although stablecoin dominance has this ascending trend line, but there is no guarantee that it's about to break below this ascending trend line, first of all. Because remember that there are two other important confluences also. First of all, it's a nice looking double top pattern, break above the neckline, price came back down, retested the neckline of this double bottom pattern. It's not double top, it's double bottom, right? So double bottom pattern, a very important reversal pattern. Price had a break above the neckline, came back down, retested the neckline of this double bottom pattern. Okay, this is the first thing telling you that a reversal is happening on the Bitcoin chart, meaning that Bitcoin can easily go back down to $106,000 level. That is where we have the long limits placed. And secondly, if you look at this formation, you would notice that impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, corrective wave, and impulsive wave. And even an update shared yesterday also, when people were optimistic that maybe price is now just headed towards 116,000 immediately, I was saying that if you would draw the fib levels, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, you would notice that this is just a retracement. Okay, this is nothing but simply just a retracement down to 61%, 65% fib level. And look, I just mentioned to you, if you can draw the fib levels precisely, if you know how to draw the fib levels, this is just golden information for you. This is just real alpha for you. You can see that how precisely price just created a reaction at 65% fib level. Okay, the same thing happened on the Bitcoin chart, the same thing happened on the stablecoin dominance chart also. We mapped the market structure carefully here. We know that this is impulsive, corrective, and impulsive wave. And based on that, when we draw the fib levels, start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, we notice that the reaction happened at 65% fib level, meaning that ideally speaking, stablecoin dominance should now be creating a new higher high. And I would be more than happy if stablecoin dominance, when stablecoin dominance gets to this resistance level, I would be more than happy if Bitcoin is also at $106,000 level. Otherwise, we should be waiting for stablecoin dominance to get to this level. Ideally speaking, we should wait for both confluences, right? We should wait for Bitcoin to go back down to 106,000, and then we should wait for stablecoin dominance to go back up to this resistance level. And that is when we should be taking a long position, because there is no guarantee that Bitcoin would precisely be at $106,000 level. These two charts, they're correlated, but not precisely correlated. So Bitcoin could be at 104,000, 103,000. Yes, we would definitely evaluate the situation, carefully, very carefully in the next few hours. But if stablecoin dominance continues to go up and gets to this resistance level, I would prefer that Bitcoin is at $106,000 level, because that is where the 70.5% fib level is. The worst case scenario is that the 78.6% fib level reaction will happen, because remember that 78.6% is an equally important level. 65, 70 and 78.6. The reason we usually talk about 70% is because we say that I do not want to miss out on the move. I do not want to miss out on this complete move. So maybe the reaction will happen at 70.5 or 78.6. But $106,000 to $104,000, this $2,000 range is extremely important for Bitcoin, and that this is where a potential bounce is expected, and this is where you may have a bounce which would ultimately create a new all-time high on the Bitcoin chart. And by the way, a similar kind of story was present on the USDT dominance chart also. USDT dominance chart came back up to this resistance level, then went all the way down to this level, and there was no reason, honestly, there was no reason to be bullish yesterday, because stablecoin dominance was at support. USDT dominance was at support. You can see that price is almost always reacting at this level. Stablecoin dominance was at support. USDT dominance was at support. Bitcoin was at 1 day quarterly VWAP resistance. So if you took the long position yesterday, despite of all the updates that were constantly being shared, then that's completely your mistake. That is a blunder at your end, because these market updates are literally the best possible source of information for you. And I'm not bragging about this, but I do not know one single person who is sharing these kind of detailed updates every single day. Okay, sometimes I do not share updates on total 2 or Bitcoin dominance, and that is because nothing really is happening on those charts. But I make sure that I'm daily sharing these updates. As soon as I wake up, as soon as I look at these charts, I compile these updates and I share it with you guys to make you aware that what exactly is happening in the market, or where exactly price is headed towards. And remember that I've mentioned that I'm not comfortable I'm not comfortable taking any long positions right now. I'm more comfortable taking short positions. And I know that some people actually rely on these updates. Some people actually use these updates to make their decisions. And that is why I never ever try to be lazy about it. I've never ever tried to be lazy about it. I've always tried to be very, very careful about it, that whatever I'm seeing in these updates, it's going to help people make these decisions, because I realize that you are not just following my updates. Okay, for example, during the people are always keen about following people are always keen about following more and more analysts, right? I don't exactly know what the obsession is with following more and more trade calls. Even you can just trade high quality 4 to 5 calls, and that should make you enough profit for the rest of the month. In fact, if you're not making any profits in 1 month, that is good enough. Okay, because these markets, they're really cruel. These markets, they're not designed to give everyone profit, and they would never really be like that. They're never really going to reward everyone. The majority is always going to be on the losing side, and that is how the minority makes so much profit. That is how the 2% are making so much money, because 98% are losing money. If only 50% were losing money and 50% were making money, then in that situation, trading would have not been a very, very profitable or very, very rewarding profession. The only reason why it's rewarding is because the intelligent investors, the people who have access to the information, the people who know how to stay on the pitch, the people who know that staying on the pitch is the most important part, people who know that important is not to make 2x of your portfolio in 1 month. Important is to have consistent returns. Important is to just play small. Important is to just stay on the pitch and not be sitting in the dugout. And that is why your decisions should be very careful. So yeah, this is the update from my side. Nothing much to update on the altcoin side. Bitcoin dominance, definitely it's making some moves. I was constantly mentioning this. In fact, if you guys would go and watch the update which I shared on last Friday, I was saying that there is a descending trend line on Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin dominance came back down, retested this higher time frame support, and that is when we immediately abandoned the idea of opening any further long positions. We said that we know already that if Bitcoin dominance is not supporting your idea, then no matter how good the setup is, even if Bitcoin is going up, and this is exactly what we saw happen. Bitcoin went from 107,000 to 112,000 in the past 2-3 days, but nothing really happened in the altcoin market. H bar is sitting around the same levels. Literally everything is sitting around the same levels. Ethereum is sitting at the same levels. The main reason is because the idea is not supported by, you can call it Bitcoin dominance or you can call it others.d. Okay, that's completely on you because they are moving in correlation with each other. So because of Bitcoin dominance, because I saw that there is a higher time frame support on Bitcoin dominance, that is when I said that no, I'm not really going to open any long positions. I would be mainly focused on short positions, because we know that if Bitcoin dominance is going up, with even when Bitcoin is also going up, altcoins are not really going to outperform. Altcoins are not really going to do much. That is why opening short position is a much more better option instead of being stuck in a long position. Because with short position, you can immediately try to exit the position. You can maybe try to manage the position because you have the DC and everything. But with a long position, it's literally going to get ugly. And that is why, I do not recommend opening any random long positions until and unless you are looking at a coin which really is an outperformer, which is really an outlier. That is a totally different situation. So, regarding Bitcoin dominance, a descending trend line, you can see that it's sitting at a higher time frame support. $4,000 level is being mentioned over and over again during these updates. For as long as we're sitting at this level, there is no reason to open any longs, and we will only start looking for long positions once the retest of this resistance level happens. Although Bitcoin dominance itself, you can see that it's sitting at a resistance level. And by the way, this red line here, it's the yearly VWAP. You can see that you have the first retest, second one, third one, fourth one. In fact, it's a price had a break below the yearly VWAP after a very, very long time. Okay, this is the 4-hour time frame chart I'm talking about. We had a break above this level back on 10th of January 2023. So almost after 2-3 years, we had a break below this level, meaning in the long term, the altcoin market is bullish, but at least for the short term, I would wait for price to go back up to this resistance level. And you can see that we already had the first retest. Maybe if the second attempts happen, we will have a move up to this 4,000 level. But usually I'm not a big fan of using the dynamic levels, on the Bitcoin dominance chart, especially on the BTC.D chart. BTC DOM is a chart which you can trade, but with BTC.D chart, using these SR levels or using these dynamic levels may not really be a very good idea, and that is why I'm often giving updates in terms of BTC DOM chart. So in terms of BTC DOM, you can see that we are not looking for any longs. Reason is because BTC DOM is sitting in the middle of nowhere. We will wait for BTC DOM to go back up to 4,000 level at least, although it's still forming these lower low formation, which is a good thing. And we will take our chances. We would simply just play level by level. Okay, I'm not concerned about where Bitcoin dominance is headed towards in a long term. If it's resistance, I would start looking for longs, because I know that even if Bitcoin is dropping, longs would be much more easy to handle. If it's down at support, I would be looking for shorts, because I know that even if Bitcoin is going up, shorts would be much more better to handle in that situation, right? So this is the update from the altcoin market in general. Now over to you guys. Please let me know any questions, any chart requests that you guys may have. For the next 25 to 30 minutes, we're only going to focus on the chart request and the questions part. Also, 60 plus people watching the live stream, only 40 of you have liked it. I would really appreciate if all of you are able to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the live stream, follow me on Twitter, 𝗟𝘅𝗶𝗵𝗵𝘁𝘀, this is my Twitter handle. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates, calls, access to this, all of this information, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. Okay, let's start taking the questions. Harry is saying, yeah, it's only you. I'm almost in 10 plus different trading servers and only taking yours market updates. They give a much more clear direction than others. Yeah, that's right. Varun Sharma is saying, thank you for the updates, bro. Please do not change. I'm reliant on your updates and please do not change it. No, I would definitely not change anything, because that is how I basically do it, right? Sometimes the updates, they may not really be that frequent, but at least the Bitcoin updates are always going to be there. whenever there is something happening in the market, I would always try my best to update it. And unlike other analysts, unlike other traders, I have one advantage, that I am a full-time trader. Okay, I literally stepped out of my house 2 weeks ago. Can you fucking imagine this? I stepped out of my house 2 weeks ago. So I've been in my house for past 2 weeks. I did not step out of the out of the door. So that is how full time I actually am. I literally have nothing else to do. So Govind is saying, really appreciate your market updates. These updates helping me understand. Thank you so much. Amnesia is saying, Sherlock, I've changed my strategy to placing limits at higher time frame supports or at levels I think a large number of SLs are. It's well, it's going well thought. You would have to explain it a little bit further, because how would you find out where exactly the uh you know if price is not going to just give a breakout above this level, right? Because let's just take the example of this coin called AGT. So what you are essentially saying is that you are placing your limit short order instead of at this level, somewhere around this level. Now you can see that this resulted in a breakout. And by the way, I'm also planning to open a long position on ACT. Now you must be asking that why exactly are we doing that? I just gave a 1 hour lecture explaining why short positions are not a long positions are not a good idea. It is because this could be an outperformer in my opinion. It's a red day, and you can see that AGT is one of the only coins green on this red day. Uh, and that is why, and that there is also a nice deviation. And for that reason, I'm thinking about opening a long position. Not really sure, because once again, I absolutely do not like having open long or short positions at the same time. Con is asking, I would like to ask if the VWAP changes based on the time frame selected. Yes, it definitely changes. So the positioning of the quarterly VWAP, for example, this is the positioning of quarterly VWAP on the 4 hour time frame chart. It's around 111.6k. But if you notice this on the daily time frame chart, you can see that it is at 113,000 approximately. So yes, it definitely changes as per the time frame that you are selecting. Do you see a leverage position for LDO? No, I don't really see a leverage position for LDO, because it's just behaving the same way as any other coin in the market because of the market being red. But it's a high conviction trade spot. I would definitely recommend it. Can you take a look at Tau? Let's take a look at Tau. I've never enjoyed taking a look at Tau or Solana. Tau, just like Solana, sometimes has a very noisy chart. But let's do that. Let's just remove all the drawings. Let's go to the Okay, first things first, let's just quickly draw the SR levels, and you can see that Tau is trading under this level. Although, I'm always telling my students also that whenever you draw these SR levels, you need to find out if price is reactive at the, is actually giving reactions at these levels or not. If we start from this point, we had a bounce at this level, the second bounce, the third bounce, price came back under this level, the rejection happened, the second rejection happened, third rejection happened. Then finally price came back up, bounce happened, then finally price came back under this level once again, and you can see that no reaction happened around here. Okay, maybe this was a small reaction, you can call it the first retest or something like that, but there was no noticeable reaction. So one instance where the reaction did not happen, price came back up, bounce happened, another bounce happened, price came back under this level, smaller rejections happened, and this is another red flag for me. Okay, whenever I'm talking about these SR levels, I'm always paying attention to the fact that how reactive the price was at this level. Was price giving any precise reactions? Were these reactions actually good enough? What was the extent of these reactions? And this is a mistake that most of my students also do a lot many times. I'm actually training 3 students of mine, full-time students of mine. I'm actually training them on daily basis, so that they can help me find these setups. Okay, because it's not an easy thing to manage all of these situations, all of these things at the same time, because we have our community also, because we have so many decisions always, decision making is going on in the background also, and there are so many other important things always going on at the front end. It may look like the things are extremely easy. You just have to wake up, you just have to start looking at these charts, you have to take a long or a short trade, but literally it's not that easy. We have teams for every little task, and for that reason it's not an easy thing to manage all of these teams at the same time. So that is why I'm training these 3 students who are very young, 16, 17-year old, and I'm trying my best to train them so that they can find these setups for me. But the mistake that they are doing more and more often, and I'm going to do a session with them in which I would point out these mistakes to them, is that they are selecting the SR levels, and this is a mistake that most of you guys also do. They are selecting the SR levels, not realizing that there have been instances where price failed to react at this level, right? This is one red flag, and this is the second red flag that we have found. And remember that, when you are playing with a very high win rate, okay, my trading strategy consistently has a win rate above 80%. In the last 3 years, I do not remember a single month in which my win rate dropped below 80%. Okay. People usually focus on other things. People usually say that, okay, risk to reward ratio is the important part, you don't really have to follow the win rate part, blah blah blah. But in my personal opinion, for your self-esteem, for your confidence, and for all the other reasons, it's equally important to have a good win rate. And that is why I'm very very focused on the win rate also. And that is why we cannot afford to take a position in which we cannot afford to go with a setup in which there are red flags present like this. Especially red flags existed not long ago. You can see that this one happened just back on 30th of June, almost in the month of July, which means that just a month or two ago. And although if you go by the SR levels, this is the first retest of resistance. You should have a tight stop loss above this level, above this resistance, although it's not a very tight stop loss, right? Quarterly ELD VWAP is not present in the entry range. The 4-hour quarterly VWAP is definitely present around here. You can see that price was reacting at this level, but not a very good chart. I'll be honest with you. I like to see charts that are very good looking. Good looking, by good looking, I mean to say charts like this. Okay, ACT, you can see that price was bouncing at this level, then had a break below this level, then came back up, retested this level, and then finally it's just going down. Okay, these are the kind of charts that I actually enjoy looking at. So same is not the case here with Tau. It's not a very pleasing thing to look at. The chart, it's not a very pleasing thing to look at, although the chart itself, the coin itself, is a really good one. In fact, I was looking at the stats, and Hype and Tau are the only two coins in this cycle that have outperformed the rest of the market. I'm talking about the altcoins, right? So the growth trajectory has been really really amazing with Tau and Hype. um, the AI narrative is good, but the point is that the chart is not enjoyable to trade, and one losing trade could cost you your self-esteem, your confidence, and a lot many other things. Okay, almost all of us are just one trade away from quitting. In fact, a lot of us are just one trade away from quitting because we don't know what situation others are going through. People usually have these losing streaks, and they just say that, okay, one more trade and then I'm not going to trade this market. One more trade if it's a losing trade, and I'm simply just going to get away from the market. So that is why it's very important that you focus equally on the win rate part, and it's very important for your mental health, for your self-esteem, for your confidence. And with Tau, because there are two red flags existing not long ago, that is why, although if you go by the book, then you should be opening a short position. But otherwise, I would simply just skip this setup. I would say that there are 400 plus pairs available for trading on any one of these tier 1 exchanges. Why do I have to go with a coin which has these red flags? Okay, you just need one good setup for at least next 4 to 5 days. You don't need like tens of different setups. Obviously, when the market is offering you good things, then you can definitely go with 2 3 setups also in a single day. But this is not just with Tau, this is with almost all of these other altcoins also, and I absolutely hate these kind of situations. I'll be honest with you. There are situations in which market starts consolidating and the structure on these altcoins gets absolutely messed up. Okay, and this is something that I absolutely hate. I literally do not enjoy this situation in which market is just consolidating, market is just moving sideways, because that is really bad for the altcoins. They would stop giving respect to these levels. They would start giving these false breakouts, these fake outs, and this is something which would haunt you for the next few weeks. Because when I look at the chart for Tau, I know that because price failed to react at these two levels, I'm not going to trade it for the next like 2 3 months, unless the structure stabilizes a little bit, unless new levels are formed, unless price starts giving respect to these levels. I would simply just not be interested in trading these levels. But once again, I'm not particularly interested in trading a specific chart, so that is why I can simply just go to the next chart and start trading on that one. So yeah, this is my opinion about Tau right now. What's the next chart request? It's about Solana. So Solana, I have mentioned this already several times that I'm waiting for the candle close above this level. This was not a very good candle close. This was not a very uh, decisive candle close, I would say. But as long as we have a candle close above 212 level, around 212, around 213 level, which should be looking something like this. Okay, this is a strong candle close. This is a strong candle close. I'm more than happy to take a long position on Solana, then place my stop loss right under a low, and then maybe target the next regions ahead. Okay, so same is the case here. Solana, although it's good, and the only reason why the only reason why Ethereum is going down is because the Sol ETH chart is looking really good. If I show you the chart for Solana against Ethereum, you would see that it had a breakout recently, and for that reason, you can see that the capital is rotating from Ethereum into Solana. Okay, and Solana was constantly downtrending, and now it's just giving this breakout against Ethereum. So for that reason, it would be much better to wait for Ethereum to go back down to $4,000 level, and it would be much better to wait for Solana to give you a complete fat, good looking daily candle close above 212 level, and that is when you can start, rotating your capital into it. Because remember that Solana is looking good despite the overall market bleeding slowly. Solana is still looking good, and it would just need one small pump from Bitcoin to break above this 212 level. But unless we have the confirmation, unless we have a daily candle close, a decisive daily candle close above 212, I'm not really going to touch it. Uh, the next chart request is for ARB. As far as I remember, ARB was sitting at support, had a big move. Yeah, it's just sitting at support. There is no position on ARP. I'll be honest with you. Uh, Only interested if it gives a move like this. Okay, and only interested in shorting if it breaks below this level. Let's set an alert around here. If it breaks below this level, something like this, gives a decisive break below, then consolidates a little bit, then goes back up, I'm more than happy to take a short position on ARP. Or if it just breaks and closes above this level, 67 cents, I'll be more than happy to take a long position. You can see that ARB literally is not doing anything. It's just moving in the entry range. And I'll be, giving you guys a suggestion that do not go with these kind of coins, which are literally dead right now. Okay, you need a coin that is doing something, especially in the current market situation where market is not doing anything. You need a coin that is doing something. Otherwise, you would simply just be stuck in a range. Otherwise, you would simply just stuck. You would be stuck with a coin which is not doing anything. We took a short trade on Nairo, and that coin literally just went down almost 40% in a matter of few days. Same was the case with Santos also. That coin went down almost 20% just in a matter of days. Waves was a very slow moving coin. I already regret opening that position on that coin already, although it went down almost 8-9% already, but still it's a very slow moving coin. So you need to avoid trading these kind of coins that are simply just moving at the SR level and not doing anything, because you would be wasting your capital. Having your margin with you is the most important part. We have 70 plus people watching the live stream. Only 51 of you have liked it. I would really appreciate if all of you are able to like the live stream. So it's a no for me on the ARB part. It's not looking good. Near. I recently recommended, someone came to me with a big enough portfolio. They had like, $2 million, $3 million, and they had Avalanche, Near, and a few other shit coins. I would say shit coins, dead coins, dot also in their portfolio. And I recommended to them that you need to exit these coins because these coins are not doing anything. Same is the case with Near. You can see that it has literally been moving in the same range. We opened a breakout trade somewhere around here, if you guys remember, back in the month of July. Then the retest trade happened, okay, which was a successful one. The first retest was a successful one. Let's set an alert around here if it breaks and closes below this level. And remember that we're talking about the daily time frame chart. So these consolidations are happening on the daily time frame chart. It's not easy that you are wasting your capital on a trade which is literally not going anywhere. Okay, so with Near, if it breaks and closes below this level, I would be interested in taking maybe a small short position, although it's not going to be very feasible because the next support level is very close. And for that reason, even if we short at this breakout, you can see that we wouldn't really be able to catch anything. But again, a complete shit coin, a complete dead coin. I'm not saying a shit coin because there is no utility. I'm saying in terms of the fact that these coins are from the previous cycle. They're literally dead right now. So until unless I see something good enough with this coin, I'm just staying away from it. Maybe a break below this level or maybe a break above this level, because the two trades that I could take, the first one was breakout trade, already done that. The second one was retest trade, already done that. And now there is no trade for me. uh, XRP. I'm waiting for XRP to give a deviation. Actually, I'm waiting for XRP to see what exactly it would do. If it gives a deviation, it already gave a move below this level. If it turns out to be a deviation, and for this move to turn into a deviation, it has to give a daily candle close above this level at least. That is when the deviation will be confirmed. And that is when I will be interested in taking a long on XRP because of this descending trend line also. You see that this was deviation retest. Now, if this is the deviation, then we will first of all take a deviation trade and then we will take a deviation retest trade. But otherwise, you can see that you cannot take a short trade because of deviation, and you cannot take a long trade because you do not even know if this is actually a deviation. How does your mentorship work? So for mentorship, I would recommend that you open up a support ticket. We have an amazing discount going on mentorship, and it's a very extensive program. I don't know if someone who is already a part of mentorship is watching this live stream or not, but they would be able to give you a complete, a complete point of view on the mentorship part. But yeah, it's a very extensive program. It's a lifetime program. We have almost a 50% discount for a very limited time going on mentorship. 200 plus people are already a part of that program, and it's a very extensive program. Once again, we recently started giving free audiobooks also. So any trading related book that you would want to have access to, we are creating a separate subsection on the website. We already have videos and everything uploaded. All the content is regularly uploaded on the website. Live lectures are recorded, edited, and uploaded on the website. But now we are creating a separate subsection in which you would have audiobooks, all of the audiobooks free of cost, and then you would have all trading related books also. We already provide every trading related book in the resources channel of our mentorship server. But if now we have decided that we will be creating subsections on the website providing free audiobooks. Any audiobook, if it's a paid one, if it's a free one, that's not really your concern. And obviously, you have access to indicators, resources, live lectures, recorded sessions, recordings of the previous sessions, everything for the lifetime, which in my opinion is a really good deal, especially considering that it's a lifetime program and there are going to be 300 plus videos. 50 plus videos have already been recorded. Almost 50 hours of training has already been done, and now there is still 250 plus hours of training left. Anything related to trading, from a guide to trading view, to how to add indicators in trading view, to how to use trading view, almost every single thing related to trading, you call it RSI, you name it, divergences, you talk about the Bollinger Band, you talk about any other thing, MACD, exponential moving averages. We are creating a guide on almost every single thing. And the best part is that all of this is done during the live lectures. The lectures are delivered live. It's obviously going to take some time to get to 300 videos, but yeah, that is the goal. And almost all the important confluences have already been given to the audience for the most recent batch. And yeah, if you would like to have, if you would like to become a part of the mentorship, all you have to do is just find the link of the Discord server in the description of this video, join the Discord server, open up a support ticket, and request the 50% discount, and it will be given to you. uh, when will you retire? Hoping not. Christine is asking. No, I'm not planning to retire anytime soon. But yeah, this is what I particularly enjoy doing. So that is why I don't really think I would be able to spend time away from these charts anytime soon. Can I ask if your levels? You are kidding. Chris is saying about what? Can I ask if your levels and thesis affect by the news or data release? Yes, it does, but ultimately, I'm a big believer of the fact that any information that you would need regarding any financial instrument is available right in front of you in the charts. Meaning that technical analysis, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, in my opinion, they go hand in hand with each other, right? And so, I usually rely more on what's happening on the charts. And my personal belief is that if something bullish is about to happen in terms of a fundamental news, then the reason should already be present on the chart also, because people are going to react based on that. So these reactions are automatically translated in terms of these candlesticks printed on the chart. So any information about what's about to happen or what could happen, it's just available right in front of you in the chart. not running anymore. I have a treadmill in my room, right next to my bed. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Please start doing ETH updates too. I do the ETH updates. Sorry, I have been doing the ETH updates, but the reason is because ETH is not doing anything right now. ETH is literally not just doing anything, but if you guys are interested, I can start the regular updates on ETH also. XRP, I've already given the chart on XRP. Can you take a look at XRP? I'm waiting for XRP to give a deviation. And if the deviation is confirmed with the daily candle close above $2.88, that is when I would get into XRP. Um, do we have to have a certain setting for fib retracement, because I do not see 0.65 and 0.75? Okay, uh, just apply the fib levels, go into the settings and take a screenshot of this and enter these numbers, okay? Because these are the settings that I'm using. It's very easy. You can basically go to templates, save this template, give it a name, and then save the template, and then whenever you would apply the Fibonacci retracement level, the same levels would be visible on your chart. You can take a screenshot of this, pause the screen and take a screenshot. So on what time frame is reasonable to look at YVWAP, QVWAP? 4 hour and 1 day. Or MVWAP. What's MVWAP? I call if you're talking about MPVWAP, it's called multi-period VWAP, and YVWAP and QVWAP combined are called MPVWAP. It's just a name that I came up with, okay? I wanted to give it some name, so I called it MPVWAP, multi-period VWAP. So 4 hour and 1 day. These two time frames I'm always looking the VWAP on. What about spot on Tau? No, because it's trading under resistance, so there is no reason to do spot right now. And especially considering the fact that others BTC is not doing anything. Remember that for market to be really bullish, you need others BTC to at least break above this level, okay? To at least claim this 14 cents level, because last time too, that is when the actual bull run started back in 2021 also. You can see that Feb 2021, everything rallied because, others BTC had a break above this level, 14 cents. This is a major resistance level that needs to be reclaimed. That is when you can start looking for spot positions, long-term spot positions if you're looking at. Also, Sherlock, why do you consider break-even as wins? For example, no, I did not consider break-even as wins. QTUM was never considered as a win. Where did we consider that as a win? QTUM quantum was a break-even trade. That was never considered as a winning position. So arrow. If it was, if that was the case, must have been a mistake. But no, we never ever consider break evens as winning trades. So for arrow, these are my limits, and I'm still waiting for arrow to go back down to retest this level. You can see that if you draw the fib level start of impulsive wave, I'm hoping that 61.8% fib level reaction has still not happened. I'll be going with 65, 70.5. So yeah, I'm hopeful that some reaction can be expected around here, especially considering that arrow has a very stable structure: impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive wave. And the best part is that each one of these waves are bouncing at 65%, 0.618 level. So I'm still waiting for arrow to go back down to this level, $1. Can you take a look at OP? I'm in OP long. Optimism. OP has been a dead coin, surprisingly. It has been trading under a major resistance level for some time. So yeah, I don't really see how you have opened a long position on OP and what exactly your bias is. But I remember the last time someone talked about OP, I looked at the chart and it was trading under this major resistance level, and I absolutely do not see any reason to trade OP right now, considering that it's trading under this resistance level. Unless we have a breakout above this resistance, let's set an alert around here. OP is a dead coin. I mean, you can see this for yourself. It has been moving under this resistance since March. Okay, we frequently had these bullish periods in which most of these altcoins rallied, but OP literally is not doing anything. It's trading under this major resistance level. As one of the private group, what trades should I open now? As one of the private GRP? What are you saying? As one of the private GRP? Uh, ACT is the open position that we have. If you would watch this live stream from the start, I've already given the entry for ACT and for H bar also. Both of these trades, they're active. Stop loss has not been moved to break even, although this one is almost 2% down from the entry point, I would say. Yeah, almost 1%, 2% down from the entry, and ACT is almost around the entry point. But yeah, this is the, you can pause the screen, take a screenshot. This trade I did not share on my Twitter, but yeah, this is a free trade for all of you. Take this short position on ACT, right? These two short positions are open. Stop loss has not been moved to break even. Thoughts on 𝗬𝗃𝗏. I have never I've never figured out how to pronounce this coin. Is it Ave or is it Ave? I've seen people usually pronounce it as Ave. Yeah, no trade for me on this one unless it reclaims this level. And the same story here. You can see that the retest happened, first retest happened, the first retest happened. Now it's just simply just trading in the same range. But if you would like to know, there is a small short position that you could take, but again, because price is not doing anything, it's a big market cap coin, and just like other big market cap coins, because there is nothing much happening right now, all the options are already exhausted. You can see that the first retest happened here, price had a break below, the first retest already happened here. So if you are looking to build a position, then at least wait for price to go back down to this level, this higher time frame support, or maybe reclaim this level. So unless the reclaim of this level happens, there is not really going to be any long position for me on AVE. Let's set another alert around here. You see that is, how difficult it is to find a good working setup. And this is the reason why I look at all of these coins every single day, and sometimes, you don't even find one coin which is good enough to trade. Any simple way to find these coins which are more active? Yeah, you can go to the watch list. I can share the link of the watch list with you. Rank these coins as per percentage change, negative or positive. Okay, and these coins that are in top gainers and top losers, these coins are going to have the best possible opportunities, right? For example, 𝗨 had a massive move towards upside. Where is 𝗨? That coin went dead again. Where is 𝗨 ETH? Yeah, what's this coin doing? 40% down, then retrace the whole move, stopped us break even, then just died once again. So yeah, these kind of coins would have the best possible opportunities. You can see that this was the higher time frame support, and it has a history of wicking into this level. These huge wicks are always happening usually. I wait for price to run stop past obvious levels, then look for a rejection wick and structure shift. I enter on the retest of that stop zone. That is what I've been doing. Okay, that sounds like a good plan, and it's not at least sounding like a simple thing. But yeah, if it's working for you, then good. And maybe you can share it with us also. Why do you use 127% fib and the higher ones for when do you use them? Okay, that's a good question. So let's just say that you draw the fib level, something like this. You draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave. Okay, and then you see the reaction happening at 65%, 70.5. In this case, 70.5% fib level reaction happened. Now, you can use this fractal in the very same manner to see where the next reactions would happen. Okay. For example, you can invert these levels and see where the next reactions could happen. If price just continues to go up, then the next reaction would happen at 127%, 161.8%. It's not that simple, but usually these are just the extensions in order to see where exactly the next reaction would happen, particularly in regions where there is no price action available. Whenever price is trading around all-time lows or all-time highs, that is when you would use these extensions. What is your opinion on red September? Is September going to be bullish or bearish? Now that's a difficult question, but yeah, I don't really know if it's going to be bullish or bearish. But yeah, we're just going to play the levels. We would simply just trade level by level. Although historically speaking, it has been a bearish month. It has not really been a good month. But yeah, we are not really going to pay more attention on that, honestly speaking. We would simply just play level by level. I don't really concern myself with any of these things. Thank you so much. Just watching your stream have did so much good. Some discords show hate towards your trading, which was a sign to me that you are doing something right. Okay, that's something new to me. Thank you so much, by the way. I'm Sherlock student. I am His knowledge in the videos is relentless. I'm a professional in NYC and it's an amazing investment, honestly. If you guys give the time and effort, you will do well. Okay, thank you so much, Ayaz. Thank you so much for these kind words. Yeah, if you guys are interested in having the feedback from the other mentorship students, you can join the Discord server and you would find plenty of these guys who would like to give you an insight into what's happening in the mentorship server. Let's take a look at virtuals. And now, the last few charts that I would be looking at, virtuals. Yeah, so basically I'm waiting for the first retest of this higher time frame support. It has been slowly bleeding, right? Anytime people tell me that price would not go back down to these levels, I'm always telling them that this is the crypto market that we are talking about. This is the altcoin market that we are talking about. Anything is possible. Same is the case with Link. We have a lower limit placed on Link. People are thinking that maybe Link would never go back down to these levels, whereas Link, where I'm telling you that it's only a matter of time. So these are our limits on Link around $20, and price is right now around $23. So same is the case with virtuals also. I'm waiting for price to at least go back down to 92 cents, and that is going to be a very good trade because remember that this is going to be the first retest on the Link chart. This is the first retest, okay? So the first retest, remember that the best opportunity to take a long or a short, and that is going to be somewhere around 95 cents. So let's set an alert around here. And whenever the reaction happens, we'll get into that long trade. We'll have to get into a spot trade because the stop is going to be big in this situation. Following your daily updates saved my account, my mindset on trading. Following your Twitter alerts alone plus on trades, I recovered my portfolio up from a 50% loss, now up 400%. Now that's really good. Can you explain your multi-time frame EMA and how to use it? What's multi-time frame EMA? Are you talking about 1 day 12 period exponential moving average? This one, it's simply just a combination of EMAs. It simply just allows you to have all of the EMAs in one place. So instead of having 10, 15 different EMA indicators, you would use just one indicator, which will have all these EMAs. And now it's completely on you which one you would like to use. You can turn on that one and you can start using it. I'm usually using 1 day 12 period exponential moving average. Do you have any stink bids you mind sharing? I have for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Bitcoin 106,000. I don't really know if those are stink bids because by definition the bids that are placed at extremely far off levels. In this situation, I think that 106,000 and $4,000 level bids would qualify as stink bids. I just joined. Did he do an ETH update? ETH, I'm waiting for 4,000 level. When do you use TVM bands? The same way that I use any other dynamic levels, the same way that I would use 1 day 12 period exponential moving average, 4 hour quarterly VWAP, 4 hour yearly VWAP, 1 day quarterly and yearly VWAP. That's how I use the TVEM band also. The only limitation for TVM band is because it takes into account more available data. So maybe sometimes you would not have TVM band on your chart, right? So in this situation, for example, with this coin, the TVM band is present. No, it's not there for H bar. You can see that this is how beautiful TVM band is. Sometimes see that price just had a rejection at the TVM band. So yeah, it's just a combination of these dynamic levels. I just don't see it that often on your screen. That is why I ask. Um, when do you use? Yeah, okay. Yeah, TVM band is not something which I use very, very often because it's a very higher time frame something. Higher time frame confluence. is your ETH limit at 4144 valid? No, my ETH limit is not at 4144. For 4144 limit, we already have moved the stop loss to break even and taken 2 TPs. So that limit is definitely not valid. We have another limit around 4010, something like that. So yeah, that one is valid. ZBCN. Yeah, this is something which would qualify as deviation, but not a chart that always give respect to these levels. Um, yeah, because it's although this would qualify as deviation, but you can see that it's trading right under this 1 day quarterly VWAP. Okay, that's why it's very important to have all of these indicators applied on your chart. 1 day quarterly VWAP, you can see that, and it almost always reacts to this level. Had a bounce at this level, bounce at this level, came back into this level, rejection started happening, another rejection happened, then came back up, bounce happened, then came back under this level, failed to give a reaction, but once again, reaction is happening around here. So no long trade for me on ZBCN because it's sitting under 1 day quarterly VWAP, and no short trade obviously because it's sitting at higher time frame, small 4 hour time frame support, I would say. What is ELD VWAP? Do we have to request the code for this indicator also? ELD VWAP? I don't have anything as ELD VWAP. I only have the quarterly ELD VWAP, which is referred to as the MP VWAP or the Enked VWAP. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Magic was good, but Magic is not performing good right now, although it's sitting at support Magic. But because that coin had massive moves, it's literally on the mercy of these pump and dump groups. And I don't know exactly who pumps this Magic coin. I believe that in the last live stream also we mentioned the name of the person who has 700k plus followers on Twitter. He is the one behind these Magic pumps and dumps. So yeah, Silent is saying check DMs on Discord. Yeah, Silent, I already have in my to-do list mentioned your name. I have to do a meeting with you. I'll get back to you real soon. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Please make sure to give us your feedback. Once again, I would really appreciate if all of you are able to just subscribe to the YouTube channel and like this live stream. This is really important. And if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗨𝗏𝗏, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally post market updates, calls on my Twitter account also. You can see that people are already saying that these market updates, they've helped them a lot. So I would really appreciate if all of you are able to follow me on Twitter as well. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, and if you would like to have access to this indicator, or if you would like to have the free membership of the premium Discord server, you can join with Bluffin. You can join in the Discord server. Link you can find in the description of this video. Bluffin is an exchange that I always talk about, that I always promote, that I always, say that I have faith in it. I have faith in what the team is doing. It's a really good exchange. They're always listening to the audience. And yeah, Bluffin, make sure that you are registering with Bluffin. If you already have an account with Bluffin, you can claim your free membership with us. Just make sure to join the Discord server, open up a support ticket, and we will give you the free membership of the Discord server. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care and have a great week ahead. Thank you. And please do not forget to like the live stream.